Can we take a minute to just appreciate the fact that the MC and Worthless Appraiser, he just speed ran a harem. And I can clearly tell he's just getting started. By the end of this show, we might be saying Rentaro who. In a singular episode, this man got 3 proposals. Hell, actually, he got 2 proposals and somehow ended up married. The tree spirit announces that he's his wife when it seems like another woman was coming on to him. The princess says, that's alright, I'll be the second wife. That's fine. And then the merchant dude says, hey boss, I want in on this. The best part too is the merchant guy has the most justifiable reason out of all of them. He's super interested in his eye because of the whole crystal dynamic going on. This man somehow ended up with 2 wives and a husband in a singular episode. It's like categories in speedrunning communities, man. This man's doing any percent conquer the damn world. I want more harems where everyone's involved, damn it, because this shit is comedy freaking gold, and I like that he didn't even really say no at the start. He was just more flustered, like, wait, what's happening? Oh shit, though. Of course, if you want to support my work, though, and see my full thoughts on these amazing episodes, we do have that Patreon where you got those full live reactions if you're so interested. So, I think after now seeing 3 episodes, I have a pretty good idea of what the show is going to look like. Episode 1 and 2 were vastly different episodes. Episode 1 was a lot more edgy, a lot more intense, and then episode 2 was just, it was silly as hell. And I think episode 3 falls a bit more in the middle of the 2 episodes, and I think this is probably what most of the episodes are going to look like. There will be elements of gore and maybe even death, but for the most part, I think how they handled the silly in this episode was a little more up my alley. I did enjoy last week, but I thought episode 1 was miles better than episode 2. This one, I feel like, is closer to episode 1's quality, but still, episode 1 still has stolen the show for me. And I think the way they handled, you know, Yuri coming with us makes sense. Essentially, she is a spirit of the tree, so we put the last fragment of the crystal in his eye, and now she can be summoned anywhere. Unfortunately for him, the mother-in-law also has that luxury. As soon as I saw what they were doing, I thought to myself, this man's life is screwed. He's gonna have a constant migraine. Now granted, is our girl gonna, you know, heal away any of the pain? Yeah, but think about it, this man will never have privacy ever again in his life. His first wife is always living in his eye, and even if they ever wanted to get down and dirty, the mother-in-law can constantly put her voice in his head and also summon herself. That just sounds like a living hell, man. Like, I would, like, Satan going in raw would be less painful and distraught-filled than whatever the hell he's about to deal with. Though I guess at the same time, the mother-in-law was pretty much immediately okay with the second wife, and if anything, the first mother-in-law literally was like, wait a second, boss, you should really reconsider not marrying this guy, because he might actually be beneficial. Think of his resources. It is so silly, and it was the type of ridiculousness that I thought to myself, ever since I saw the opening, and I saw the damn wall of women, I was like, oh, it's clearly going to be a harem. But seeing how not serious they might be taking it, I think it lends to such credibility that the harem's going to be a lot better than maybe we first thought. I mean, there's going to be people who will see and say, oh, it's just, I refuse to watch it. This is too ridiculous, blah, blah. It's like, sure, maybe that's how you feel. It was comedy gold for me. It really was. Though, as soon as she stabbed his eye, so she stabs his eye in order to do some mumbo jumbo so he can have, you know, an inventory, you know, system. He gets an inventory system of unlimited, but also so she can, you know, talk to him wherever he is. That wasn't worth it. Like, you could not stab my eye for $1 billion. Like, I wouldn't do it. And this woman's like, hey, I'm going to stab your eye so I can directly link up to your mind whenever I want. That's a no from me, dog. Absolutely freaking not. The episode was silly. The episode was ridiculous. And I think there's going to be one moment that will piss people off. I actually like it. Like, I completely disagree, but I do appreciate that we're not going to just have a generic edgelord revenge story. I do like the revenge stories, but I think given what we've seen of this man, I do get where he's coming from, even if I wouldn't have done this. So we kind of get revenge on the dude who left us for dead. So he's up top giving this sob story like, oh my god, you know, he he sacrificed himself, blah, blah, blah. Obviously bullshit, but, you know, we see the story he's selling. And had our boy not come back up top, the story would have worked flawlessly. And he comes up and he's like, what are you talking about? You guys left me for dead. You actually paralyzed me. And everyone just starts throwing shit at him. They're saying, you're a scumbag. And I'm thinking, hip hip hooray, bitch. That is fantastic. And he stops them. He basically says, you know, at the end of the day, even though, yes, you did screw me over, because of you screwing me over, I ended up with what I end up having now, which is obviously much more beneficial to him than when he started. On top of the fact that this was the only party that ever did take him under their wing. Even if they treated him like shit, no one else gave him the opportunity to even survive to try to make money. So I do see where he's coming from. I just personally am not that nice. I would have been like, anyone got a bar stool I can throw at him? That's just me. However, despite completely disagreeing with his almost forgiveness route or just acceptance, I do appreciate that they wrote it much different than most of these without it feeling like too generically nice. It was more of like, hey, you know, maybe if he came up top and had no connections and was still feeling the pain, yeah, he probably would have been more angry. But in this case, does he have a reason to feel angry? Probably not, given that he's now at a point where any pain that might happen to him is just going to be immediately healed. Like, we see that when he's fighting the, like, floor boss, right? Like, his legs were, like, shattering as he, like, enhanced his arms, and she was just rapid healing. Like, yeah, I do get it. I disagree, but I get it, you know what I mean? And I think that's important. Like, you shouldn't make anime that collectively the community's always going to agree with the decision of an action, but you understand why the decision happened for the character in question. And they did that, so, you know, I think it worked out quite well. But it was funny, man. The show's definitely a lot sillier and goofier than you think it was going to be after episode 1. I think after episode 2, this episode shouldn't come as too much of a surprise. But overall, yeah, like, if we're gonna speedrun any % harem routes, I'm all for that. The best part, too, is, like, I'm pretty sure Yuri would be enough for him, but now we're in a situation where he's like, shit, maybe I do swing both ways. I think that's fantastic. I don't know, man. This is a silly show for sure, but they do still manage to show us that it can be more serious. Like, we didn't really see the death of it, but we did see the aftermath of him killing that snake. And the detail to the art was pretty graphic, and there was a couple of moments. It was freeze frames, but, you know, there is still blood, so there could be moments where, you know, I'm interested in the point when her healing can't keep up to the damage, because that's probably what's going to happen at some point. But for the most part, it is going to be a power fantasy, and we're probably not going to have to worry about him all too much. I'm just interested when it does come to a point when her healing can't keep up and what that will look like for the combat in question. Let me know your thoughts and feelings, though, down below. What did you think of the any % speedrun of the harem? You like it like myself, or did you feel differently? Do let me know. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course, ring that bell, and like I mentioned, we got those full live reactions over on Patreon, and hey, while you're over there, I'll just give you a video shout out. Alright, so today we got Pickrick542, Thor Linsgard, Vi, Anthony Silva, Nevaga Games, Machiavelli, and we also have Christopher Stevenson, so I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care, and y'all have a good one.